if you don't know today, the federal government of Nigeria does not want me, Peter Obi, to be a candidate of any party, but I'll be candidate.
This is a very useless judgment.
The court simply said, go back and start this matter all over again. That's right.
You're a lawyer.
Yeah. First and foremost, no judge has the right or the power to rehear a case it has had to conclusion.
So on what basis are they taking this decision, other than the fact that they want to eliminate all possible contenders?
This is a very useless judgment. Very, very useless judgment.
A day after INEC announced NDC's registration,
The Attorney General and Minister of Justice was the second defendant. A few days ago, he emerged as a plaintiff.
ZN Labour Party was not even a party. Accord Party was not even a party.
Hello guys, welcome back to Shaka Film. Another APC judge has struck again. This time, NDC is the victim, just the way ADC was the victim of Justice Peter Aliyu. So in this video, before we even talk about the judgment itself, or how Nigerians are reacting, it is better for us to first start by grounding ourselves on the background of this story and why did the NDC even take INEC to court in the first instance. So there's this video I want us to watch of Mr. Ikena, the National Public Secretary of NDC, in this interview he did on Channel TV. So this interview is divided into two parts. The first part talks about the background, how we get here. And this part brought about all the pieces that we have been missing in regarding to understanding the issue we are facing today. So before I play the first part of this video, guys, please, if you are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, click on the bell icon so that whenever I drop any latest update, you will be notified. Thank you very much.
Is it lack of due diligence? How did you find yourself in this kind of messy situation? All right, first and foremost, I want us to look at two perspectives of this matter. The first perspective is the issue of, because the judgment said Peace Movement Party ought to have been made a party to the proceedings in the first place. That cannot be true. We started the process of registering our political party as far back as 2017. At the time we started the process, our logo was an elephant. Somewhere along the line, we realized that there was another party that had the logo, elephant as its logo. We applied to INEC to change our logo.
Realized that there was an elephant in the room.
Yes, there was. So we applied to change our logo, and we introduced the logo of the victory sign. That was in 2024. No problems. Now, thereafter, in 2025, September to be precise, more than 1 year after we have successfully changed our logo, INEC wrote to us saying that they cannot continue our registration process. On the sole reason being that, according to INEC's letter, our logo looked like that of the APC. We disagreed with INEC. We wrote to INEC and made two requests. First request, allow us, while we do not agree that the logo of the NDC looks like that of the APC, the logo of the APC is a broom held by a hand. Our logo is a victory sign. We should be allowed to at least change the logo so that our registration process should continue. INEC refused. Ultimately, we went to court. We went to court because INEC refused to register us on the grounds that our logo looked like that of the APC. We got to court. At the time we went to court, we didn't know about PMP. We didn't know about any other association that had a logo that looked like that of like ours. We only knew that INEC had refused to register us because, according to them, which is false, our logo looked like that of the APC. So we took INEC to court. While in court, INEC filed a defense, and in their defense, for the first time, they raised the issue of PMP, saying that our logo looked like that of PMP. In our response to that statement, we said, first and foremost, there are 18 political parties as at that time registered in Nigeria, and none of them is PMP. None of them has any logo that looks like ours. Secondly, out of the 171 political associations that registered seeking registration, none of them is PMP. So there was no basis for you to say that our logo looked like that of any other political party when there was none, either that has applied for registration or that was registered as a political party in Nigeria, as at the time we were in consideration. During hearing, the judge asked INEC, PMP, is it a registered political party? INEC said no. Amongst the 171 associations that applied for registration, is PMP one of them? The INEC said no. So why are you bringing up the issue of PMP at this point? It was not the reason you refused to register us, and it was not the reason we came to court. The court, in its well-considered judgment, overruled every argument of INEC, including the issue of PMP that had no basis at all, and registered us. Now, as a lawyer, you're also a lawyer, you know. First and foremost, there are only two grounds, basically in law, by which you can set aside the judgment. One is that the judgment in itself is a nullity ab initio. Secondly, that your judgment was obtained by fraud. None of this applies in this case. Secondly, when a party feels that its interest is affected by any judgment of any court, what it will do is to apply, after judgment has been given, is to apply to appeal against that judgment as an interested party. And legally speaking, every rules or procedure of courts, there are time limits for appeal and for you to apply to appeal as an interested party. As far back as December 10 last year, judgment was delivered in this matter. It was common knowledge in the whole country that a court judgment has been issued on ordering that NDC be registered. From December 10 when that judgment was given till today. You can check when PMP purportedly filed the application. You don't set aside a judgment, a duly considered judgment that was given on its merits.
Finalized,
enforced. The only defendant in that judgment was INEC. And INEC looked at the matter and decided that there was no basis for an appeal.
But look at it.
So basically, NCC took INEC to court because INEC refused to register them. Reason is that NDC logo and the APC logo look the same. But in the court cases, or during the court or during the court ruling, INEC admits that NDC logo and the APC logo does not actually look the same. But they brought in or sneak in another issue, which is the PMP group. But in that same proceeding, they were asked, is PMP a registered political party? Is PMP a registered political association or any association? They admitted no. And the worst part of it is that they did not even produce any material to prove that NDC logo actually looked like a PMP logo. And you will be asking, if they also admit that APC and NDC logo did not look the same, so why did they refuse to register them? That is why I want us to watch the second part of this interview. It is so very interesting.
What the court has said today. The court held that material facts were not disclosed during
What were the material facts?
What were the material facts?
The question you asked
the question the court is asking is that the ruling specifically cited non-disclosure of material facts.
What are the material facts?
You should ask your father.
No.
If
the court has said the material facts were hidden, the court will state what the material facts are. First and foremost, we argued in court that the party that came to court, the Peace Mass Movement, is not a known registered body, it's not a political party, it's not a registered association known to law. They claim to have applied for registration with INEC in 2015, and that INEC refused to register them in 2015, 9 years ago, and they went to sleep.
Do you suspect any foul play here?
Of course, every Nigerian knows that there's a foul play. Recently shown, a court in Nigeria ordered some parties to be deregistered. We are still talking about that. Another court that has given a final judgment that is subject only to an appeal is now turning around to give a ruling. You are setting aside a judgment that is not a nullity, that was not obtained by fraud, by virtue of a ruling for an order to set aside.
But can the court by itself set aside its own ruling?
I don't want to say it's kindergarten law that a court cannot do that. Everybody knows that a court cannot do that. The question is, why will a court, particularly a judge of that age at the bench,
procedurally,
even hear the matter?
Procedurally, which court has the power to revert itself?
At this stage, and I'm just told you,
for the knowledge
every
of
judge, every court has the right to set aside its own judgment on two conditions only.
If they found out?
One, if they found out that if the court had no jurisdiction in the first place to give the judgment, where the judgment is said to be a nullity. In that case, the court can, on proper application, set aside its judgment. The other case is where the judgment was obtained by fraud. Then the party applied.
Hiding material facts is not part of the principle that will allow a court to...
And even at that, it is only the defendant in the matter that can bring an application to set aside. In a situation where material fact was hidden, the party must first of all apply for leave to appeal, not to set aside. The procedure does not provide for where anybody can jump out from anywhere.
Did your legal team underestimate the implications of this? Because the fundamental issue that INEC was presenting to the court was that you cannot register your party because of identity clash. And if the court now says, go back to the very beginning of this argument, does that mean one thing? When INEC said, I cannot register, let's begin this trial.
In the substantive proceedings, admitted first and foremost that our logo did not resemble that of APC. That was the first thing they admitted to. Then secondly...
That's in the trial.
In the trial. They admitted, in fact, they didn't raise it. The moment we filed our suit, they didn't mention INEC logo anymore. They didn't mention APC logo anymore because they admitted during the proceeding that actually, in fact and in truth, our logo, the logo of the NDC, which is a two-finger victory sign, did not in any way resemble that of the APC. They now introduced the issue of peace movement and admitted further that Peace Mass Movement is not a registered political party. It's not one of the 171 political associations that applied for registration. So there was no basis.
So fundamentally, what the court has said is that go back to the beginning of this matter.
The court had no right to do so.
I'm telling, as a matter of fact, just a moment, I'm trying to break it down for our viewers to understand, so that we know what the implications are.
First, I think it's very wrong for the judge to even have agreed to hear the matter from the very beginning. Because the moment the application was made, the judge ought to have known that not having the power to reopen the case, he cannot take any application on it. The only option that was open to PMP is that they could have applied to appeal that judgment, as an interested party.
So let's look at it. Political associations are regulated by INEC. And in that sense, there are those who will argue that your party should have just gone ahead and meet the requirement as being stated by INEC. Go and amend your logo because there is a look-alike, there is a clash of identity. And there are those who will now say, why is NDC wanting to use the court to bypass INEC registration process, attempting to achieve through the court what it could not obtain administratively?
Brother, let me tell you something. I'll ask you one question. 171 political associations applied for registration. Only one was registered. Do you actually believe that the rest 170 associations did not meet the threshold of the requirements of law? The truth is that that particular INEC had made up its mind not to register anybody. Our process started since 2017. We had met all everybody that, in fact, INEC in the proceedings in Sunday trial admitted before the court that we had met all the requirements for registration. What you're saying is what some third parties who were not there, who do not know the facts of our case, have been saying in public, and we have tried severally to say this is not true. We didn't go to court because we are not qualified. In fact, if we were not qualified, the court would not have registered us or ordered our registration. We went to court because we had met every condition for registration. But INEC whimsically decided they would not register us on the flimsy and the excuse that our logo resembled that of APC. And you and I know.
Mr. Morgan,
yes.
If the fresh hearing now goes against you,
we're not going to go through a fresh hearing.
That's what the court says.
See, elementary law shows that the court had no right in the first place to make that order. The court had no right even in the first place to hear that application. So how can you cannot place anything on nothing and expect it to stand?
Your presidential candidate is of the opinion that this is in part about him, and that there is an effort to ensure that he's not on the ballot. Do you think so?
Every Nigerian that is old enough to understand things know that there are people who do not want the democratic space to be expanded so there can be a proper contestation for positions in the next general election. Every Nigerian knows that what is happening in the political space today is predetermined by certain persons that do not want proper contest. You don't need anybody to tell you that. Peter Gregory Obi is our presidential candidate. It's the choice of a gross majority of Nigerian people to assume the mantle of leadership of this country come 2027. And some persons who know they do not stand a chance against him in the elections do not want him to be on the ballot. That's what this is all about, and that's the reality.
And you don't think this could happen in 2027?
It will not happen. I can assure you that it will not happen. So, see, let me tell you something. There's a funny thing about this matter. We were scheduled to pick up our codes to start uploading our candidates today. In fact, we were at INEC yesterday. We were supposed to be at INEC today to pick up the codes. And then at the middle of the day today, this ruling just comes up. I think it was designed and timed to stop us from picking up those codes. But I can assure you that we'll pick them up. We'll pick them up, we'll upload our candidates, we'll participate in the elections, and I can tell you now, and I can also tell our supporters, our members, and our candidates, they have nothing to fear. All our candidates will be on the ballot come 2027, and we'll win the elections, because Nigerians are fed up with what is going on in this country today.
The motion on notice, when the PMP joined in this matter, was this started on the NDC?
Yes, the PMP did not join. The right thing for them to have done, like I said, I repeatedly, if a party felt that a judgment affected it and it needs to appeal, not set aside the judgment, because it cannot set it aside, legally speaking. I'm old enough as a lawyer to know that you cannot set it aside. What it could have done is to bring an application before the same court that gave the judgment, seeking leave to appeal as an interested party. Normally, they would need to file their own notice of appeal and grants of appeal, showing that they have a substantial case to argue at the Court of Appeal. And the court can decide to grant them leave or not. That's the only application a judge who has given judgment the matter can hear.
You can hear from him that over 170 political parties registered or applied to create a political party, but only one was able to be registered. And this was the period Labour and Peter Obi was having problem. They refused to create any other political party because they know maybe Peter Obi will go to the new party. And they don't want something like that. They only admit, or the court only admit to register NDC because they believe then Peter Obi was going to ADC. That was December 10th. To know where we're coming from, there's another interview I want us to watch. This time is from the ADC part. In this interview, you also hear that this is how ADC was also deregistered before the appeal court returned that judgment. Let's watch that interview.
In my
Is that how you pronounce a
I'm telling you, because
judicial
when
the judge decides to be useless,
when a judge decides to ridicule the judiciary, what do you expect? This is a very senior member of the bench. I mean, Honorable Justice Peter Aliyu. even a university student, a law university student, will tell you that once a court of appeal gives any judgment or ruling, that the lower court is bound by that ruling. I mean, ordinary law students in the university, let alone a senior judge. The Court of Appeal gave a ruling staying proceedings at the Federal High Court. And it's not as if that the ruling was not brought to the attention of my Lord, the Honorable Justice Peter Aliyu. It was brought to his attention.
As a lawyer, let me ask you again, but why was it really necessary to approach, the appeal court for an order of stay of proceeding?
Thank you for this question. Let me now let Nigerians know how the genesis of this matter.
You've got to be brief.
Yes, very, very brief. The plaintiff in this matter filed this action in December last year in the name of listen very well, in the name of National Forum of Former Legislators, which is a non-juristic personality. When they now realized that the name used in suing the defendant was not a juristic person, on their own volition, without the order of court, amended the process and then changed the juristic personality of the plaintiff, and then added the incorporated trustees without the order of court. By the initial process filed in December, ZN Labour Party was not even a party. Accord Party was not even a party. On their own volition, without the order of the court, added this other defendant in the matter. When it was now challenged, Justice Aliyu resurrected a dead matter and granted their application for amendment. It was that order that the plaintiff should now amend their process that triggered the appeal. When the appeal was pending, appeal entered. We came back to Justice Aliyu for stay of proceedings in his court. He dismissed all applications, but as the Court of Appeal found in our favor, ordered Justice Aliyu to stay further proceedings in the matter. And the order was served on him. The order was before him. He acknowledged service of the order on the court. He went ahead disregarding the order of the court. That is, Nigerians, what can anybody do to me? I'm Justice Aliyu.
The same case. A case was already in appeal court. Appeal court stayed the execution of the lower court. But the lower court judge feel it so very pompous that I cannot be stopped by an upper court. I have to do whatever I like because the people who are paying me are telling me to do what they want me to do. A lower court went above an upper court, which is the appeal court, and carried out a judgment that the appeal court told them not to do. That is to show you the rascality of these judges we have in Nigeria. on how they are corrupt, they are billboard, they are cash and carry judges. Now, people are asking, how is Peter Obi even reacting? So, I want us to watch this video of Peter Obi in this where he make a comment which I find so very interesting.
The parents who leaders are being disencouraged. If I tell you what I'm going today, you will have not been there. And everybody asks me, are you still going to go to Madonna? And I'm saying yes, I'm going there. And they say, what is happening now? You're going there. I say yes. I've seen the worst of it. Today, the federal government of Nigeria is doing everything possible to ensure that I'm not a candidate to this election. But I'll tell you, they won't win.
Let me say so. I was thinking the only person who was then talking that they want to take NDC to court was Umar Adu, who was saying, going to different TV stations and saying that NDC was registered fraudulently by court, that court does not have the right to register NDC. He was the one that I was even thinking that would go to this extreme length, and even eventually that case will be thrown out. But not knowing that a judge would be bought and behave openly that, or give the indication that they are bought by a political party. So in the first place, let's watch Mr. Umar Adu, then we'll come back.
A day after INEC announced NDC's registration, I was here on this your studio, I was opposing it on the 6th of February. So it is not about Obi. It is not at all whatsoever. What was my business with Obi? What's my business with Kwankwaso? And when I had these facts, I communicated to, I don't have Obi's line to discuss with him directly, but I communicated to all those who have been close to Obi, telling them to tell him that if they are considering going to another political party, there are other political parties to go in, not NDC, because this is the problem NDC is facing. And I sat down with Kwankwaso and I told him. And when I also called him a day or two before they move in, I also told him that these are the problems that this NDC is facing. But they refused, they went and entered. So the fact that they entered does not mean that it has changed the situation. The situation is as bad as it has always been.
Okay. Well,
so I have no motive whatsoever other than to stop, a national fraud on the country.
Okay.
You cannot come through this way and expect people to vote for you.
Sir, thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. I don't think you got Rufai's question. Rufai is telling you that you are a busybody intervening in NDC matter. Even your own party, ADA, they have said you are on your own. So this looks like a busybody intervention. What do you stand to lose? If
you mean to tell me that what is affecting the country? What is affecting the country? Okay, I should keep quiet.
How do you incur damages? That's what a busybody action is.
Let me ask you. When in the tribunal, sanctioned INEC's 2023 elections and then said that it was right, didn't Nigerians complain? Didn't Nigerians say that INEC was wrong? Didn't Nigerians castigate the judiciary? It is the same thing. The judiciary has messed up and INEC refused to comply, refused to appeal to this, and INEC became complicit. So we have been accusing INEC of complicity in so many things. Why are we not going to accuse INEC on this complicity? You know, we cannot have double standards. We cannot pick and choose what to oppose and what to accept when we know what is wrong is wrong and what is right is.
I know you will not be asking, then why is the court doing this now? Just Mr. Ikena said in the second part of that interview, where he talked about how they went to INEC yesterday to get the material to upload their candidate to INEC server. Unfortunately, today they were supposed to even go there. Unfortunately, this judgment came. This judgment was made to destabilize NDC, but one place it failed, or the judgment failed, the justice failed, is that it did not deregister NDC. There was no declaration that NDC should be deregistered, but this same time threw NDC in limbo. But NDC will definitely carry out every activities they are supposed to do. That is where we are in Nigeria now. 2 cases under 2 weeks. Rascality, illegal judgment. If you ask me, a court going, or a lawyer or a judge going above themselves to make a pronunciation, and they are not even hiding it anymore. If the PMP were to appeal that case, they have 3 months to appeal that case after that judgment, which was on the 10th of December. Now we are in July. 6 months after, somebody is saying you should reverse the case. That is where we are in Nigeria now. Criminals everywhere. Criminals everywhere. If the judges are criminal, I don't know, but what I've perceived, my perception of them is that they are criminal, they are corrupt. How true that is, it is another story. Let's say allegedly. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll be waiting for you guys on the comment section below. I rest my case today. But before I go, guys, please, if you are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, click on the bell icon so that whenever I drop any latest update, you will be notified. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.